Good morning. How are you today? Well, we're in the 30s, and if you can see the sky, there's talk of snow, so we may have more snow, which might mean more ice. But the wind's down, so it's not that bad. I have the feeling that our public debate is untethered from common sense and reason. And we have the same bunch of issues. Of course, we've added Russia again. But one of the first issues, of course, continues to be, and is usually the first one mentioned in any broadcast, having to do with the pandemic and Omicron. And in the context of why the hell are you doing this, they are in many hospitals across the country telling the workers, even if ill, to come to work. Now, that would be not very reassuring to have ill health workers mingled with healthy health workers, mingled with patients and visitors, and support staff in a hospital on the theory that we're having trouble maintaining staff because they're ill and they can't be here. Those of you out there who want to have a resource, should you think that you have COVID, you can get the free test. You get 4 tests if you go to www.covidtests.gov. So covidtest.gov. That's it. And then you can get, in a week to, 12 days, you should get 4 tests. And then hopefully you'll never use them. But in case you need them, you have them. Another category of insane things I've heard, commentators talking about Ivanka like she's going to talk about dad and implicate him in the conspiracy, which I'm certain he is implicated in. He's the only and most central person to profit from a coup, duh. And they keep talking like, she's a public servant. She has things to contribute. Of course she'll tell the truth. No, she's not going to do that. This is her father. And I assume he's as repressive with her as every other person in the universe. The only difference, I think, is that he probably actually favors her in some fashion. So we never know how that's going to work out. So that's that's one of our things. And we have, down in Florida, we have DeSantis, who wants to get voting police. Now, a million years ago, when I was an assistant U.S. attorney, on a presidential election day, I was assigned the responsibility of dealing with any fraud claims or whatever. And we're talking about in New York City on that election day. We didn't get a single phone call. There was not an instance in New York City. And that's fine. And I was told that probably that's what would happen. So, I was at my office and I did what I normally do, and none of it involved voting fraud. No, there's no reason to think we have voting fraud against America. But DeSantis is down there, and the reason is to have access points to commit the fraud, not to prevent it. Now here in Virginia, we're reaping the whirlwind of the recent election with a new attorney general who's a Republican. And in the Roe v. Wade argument before the Supreme Court, he has withdrawn the support of Virginia from that argument. In other words, he's just fine being against abortions. He doesn't recognize the right for a woman to have any control or dominion over her own body. And this is what we're dealing with. So people who think politics doesn't matter, it really matters. And it matters, if not to you individually, someone you care about in your family, a grandchild ultimately. These issues are critically important. But the biggest issue, I think, is that the Democrats show some guts and speak frankly and candidly. Forget this bipartisan bullshit. The leadership is not. The leadership's there to exist to destroy us. Say it. I heard another dumb idea, my view, of course, and it was that Congress should put all sorts of things on the floor and have the Republicans vote them up or down so we know where they stand. The Congress is not a polling agency. It does happen when you have votes on the floor, but they should be real votes. This is a distortion of the function of what a Congress and a legislative body is all about. And is it because we lack imagination? I think so. Is it because we don't know how to formulate a message in opposition to those who are autocrats who would take over our government? I think so. It's like a wandering tribe that can't figure out how to fight, and they really got to get their act together, because as much as we pressure them, they are the instruments for change, for good or bad, and right now they're not doing a very good job. Our job, therefore, is to write and call and email them, to contribute as small as you can to whatever candidate you support that is a right-thinking candidate, and to look for opportunities to calculate advancing the argument in favor of a democracy and restoring the republic, because these midterms set us up for the general election, and we have to win some seats, and we have to make some arguments, or we'll risk losing the midterms and the general election. And if not Biden, who would be our candidate? And if not Biden, or even if it was Biden, what are the chances that Trump could run again? All of this goes back to the fact that we seek no reckoning of those who would destroy our government. And we're going to pay for it. Cowardice, cowardice just never stops. Bravery makes a difference. You assert to the world that you care about something, that you mean it, and you draw support for that. So here I am on Sunday in my cathedral of trees, and look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.